So, Cajun, I'll say we're back. Again, I'm going to cut this up into quarters, so I just post them after every quarter. And slow start again by the Canadians, Cage, but as I talked about, to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
As this has been something they've been prone to do throughout this tournament.
It like you mentioned before, it's concerning. It's concerning like if this trend continues as the competition gets tougher. But until proven otherwise, Canada has proven that this has sort of worked for them. And you got to keep this in mind because this is a team that's still trying to figure themselves out. Like we mentioned this like on our last episode. Jordy Fernandez. It has not been long since Jordy Fernandez took over the reins as the head coach of Team Canada. So they're trying to figure things out on the fly too. So the fact that they're doing this, that they have the top point differential out of any team in the tournament.
Most points scored of any team in the tournament.
Most points scored out of any team in the tournament. Most assists in a game. In a FIBA World Cup game of all time against Lebanon. The fact that they're still doing that while still trying to figure things out is amazing.
And I do want to mention this as well as Shea just showed Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on the bench as well as Olynyk from 3. Oh, that's butter, Cajun. Oh, that looked nice from the old man Kelly Olynyk.
Hey man, Kelly Olynyk. There's some guys that turn into superstars when it comes to the FIBA World Cup. Kelly Olynyk's one of them.
When it turns into a national team, they just kind of show up, eh? And Kelly Olynyk's one of those guys. One of those absolute studs.
I mean, I think this puts a smile on your face. I believe this was, it was 2017, second round, Game 7 against the Wizards. Kelly Olynyk goes nuts to help them advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. Please tell me you remember that.
Sorry, Cajun. I'm texting out because our episode also went up yesterday about 7 p.m. About 12 hours after our episode went up, actually. So I'm wearing a lot of hats. As Dort for 3 rattles in and out, and Olynyk's able to get the rebound though and put it down. Kelly Olynyk, put the team on your back, old man. Oh my goodness. The old head showing out, Cajun, not only on our show, but here for the team in white and red.
Oh, man. And you got to give those guys credit, too. Because they're not the big names. Like Shea. To a degree, like RJ Barrett. And to the names that are notably not there, like Jamal Murray and Andrew Wiggins. But they get the job done.
It only makes you think of what could be, you know?
You could think that, you could think that, but hey, everything's worked out so far, so we're just riding the wave.
Well, don't ride that wave too much just yet, Cage, because we still got a little bit more time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just in this game, as now Dort to the line. Tied 22 all, and he makes it a 1-point lead for Canada here early in the second quarter. They're 10-minute quarters, 4 quarters here. So basically college time length, which is 20 or 40 minutes. Instead of 2 halves, it's 4 quarters. Are the FIBA rules. And the same 24-second shot clock like the NBA.
And need I mind you, this run that Canada is going on right now, taking the lead right back from Brazil. Shea and RJ Barrett, they're doing this with their starters on the bench.
I think just showing the strength of the Canadians here, Cage. Just showing the strength in numbers, something you and I probably wouldn't have expected to be a strength for Canada at this tournament, has seemingly been a strength for this team at this tournament.
See, they have enough NBA players that I think that would have been the case eventually, but I didn't think this would happen. It would happen this soon. Because you got guys there that that are good players. But I think this also highlights some of the players that you don't really see at the NBA. You never see at the NBA level. Kyle Alexander, Trey Bell Haynes, Melvin Ejim, Phil Scrub. Not a lot of people know about Phil Scrub. If you're not if you hate Carlton, you're haunted by memories of Phil Scrub.
And if you've never heard of Carlton, then join the club of any person who's not from Canada. As Dort hits another three, Dort's right now got 9 points off the bench. Surprising that Lou Dort's not starting Cajun, but he's a spark plug off the bench for this Canadian team.
And I think more or less so that was because like he did miss the last 2 games with injury. Maybe try to get him back up to speed. But this has worked for them.
Apparently, Cajun's turning it up over there at the Thiru Castleham household.
I'm trying to find a live stream here. Because apparently internet TV ain't it. I'm literally following off of the FIBA website.
Well, all I have to say is, who knew Sportsnet was going to come in so clutch today? That's all I got to say.
Fair enough. And I did not. And I don't know how to feel about Bruno Caboclo going off too. I know how you feel about that. I know you're cheesed.
Well, I mean, hey, as you said, everyone shows up once in a while for their team in their jersey, and apparently Bruno's doing that tonight. Playing against some former teammates, even as he was playing for the Toronto Raptors, and some of these lesser-known Canadian guys have played for the Toronto Raptors, right? So, maybe that's playing into it a little bit here, as a foul called basically under the rim against Brazil will give Canada a chance here to go back to the line.
Surprise, surprise. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the line.
And I'm gonna wait to make sure he makes these before I say surprise, surprise. He goes for 2. Number 2 going for 2 there at the charity strap.
And oh wow, I'm looking at these scores from around the tournament. Puerto Rico now up by 3 with 31 seconds to go.
Well, and that could be again another upset here of the undefeated teams, as Slovenia has pulled away from Australia. As you mentioned, the DR right now are below Puerto Rico. Lithuania is still trying to pull away from Greece. And as you mentioned earlier, Serbia undefeated lost to Italy. So that's another undefeated team done, at least being undefeated. That's an air ball by Brazil. That's almost a scratch your head type of moment here, as the Canadians go down the other way and looking for a foul there. Don't get it. Again, I think the Canadians really do have to get used to this European style of ball and how physical you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really has been affecting them, it feels like, in this game. And I don't really know why. Maybe it's been something that's been bugging them this whole tournament. Again, you and I have not been live streaming these or talking about these games throughout this tournament. We've been talking about them sporadically when we've had our, podcast in the middle as they get the offensive off the Dort miss. Alexander now for 3, and it's good for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the Canadians have something to say after Shea made that shot. He's got 7 right now, does Gilgeous-Alexander, the first team All-NBA nod.
I'm happy. You gotta be happy for him. To see where he started off on the Clippers as like one of their building young blocks, then getting them being part of that Paul George trade, and he showed flashes before, back when CP3 was there, but he was really dealing with injuries throughout. And then the one season he's finally healthy, look what he did. So I'm thrilled for him. I'm thrilled that that the entire world can see how good he is, because a lot of people are talking about like how Luka is lethal on the World Cup stage, and that's true, on like the stage, and to a degree that's true. But Shea's putting his name into that best player discussion. He's putting his name into that best player discussion at the FIBA World Cup right now, and it's a joy. It's a joy to watch. It's a joy to watch Team Canada as well as see him thrive too.
Definitely, as Olynyk took a little extra whack there at the end of the play as he put up a shot there at the end of the right after a whistle went. He kind of got a whack there to the face and he went down. So he is up and is alert, so he is okay, but still not a good sight if you're a Canadian, because again, he's been a good player for Canada throughout this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Somewhat low scoring first half too, considering how Canada has scored throughout this tournament. Considering Canada's offensive prowess throughout this tournament, it remains to be seen if this is just a first half lull and then they turn it up in the second half, or it remains to be seen if this lasts throughout.
And if this does last throughout, you have to be very worried, Kajan, that this is going to be lasting throughout, right?
Because a situation like that would favor Brazil more, because then you get a chance to like muck things up and slow things down.
Which, let's be honest, they've been doing that. They've been slowing things down. I think they're actually checking right now to see if there was a travel before the, I think, original foul there against Brazil, or if they're going to call this extra whack at the end of the whistle a flagrant or of some description. But I guess we'll see how these shake out. But regardless of that, Canada only up by 4. Again, we've talked about very, very slow first half for Canada and for Brazil, but specifically for Canada, as right now they look to be probably the least amount of points out of any two teams total. Like if the quarter ended now and you just multiplied it by 2 and said that's the final score, Canada would have 62 points, which is just more than what Greece has had over 3 quarters, which is 58 right now, starting their fourth quarter against Lithuania.
And Puerto Rico looks like it's about to pull the upset over the Dominican Republic. So damn.
Again, more upsets here at the World Cup.
And I think this is a name that's going to make you be like, wow. Tremont Waters, 37 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, 4 steals.
And I don't think we mentioned the one big result today. The only blowout really of the day was Germany putting an absolute shellacking on Georgia, 173. So there was one murder earlier today in the top pool, as Olynyk makes his first free throw of 2 he was awarded. Again, I also do want to mention, I'm not sure you mentioned this off the top, but I do want to mention it here. Lebanon and France won today. So both teams that did not make it out of the Canadian and Latvian pool won today. Lebanon beat the Ivory Coast. 94-84, and France crushed Iran 82-55. So again, today has just made Canada's resume look so good. Like, it looks so good right now.
And heading into that group, heading into the FIBA World Cup, that was a difficult group for Canada going in
Very
because
much so.
obviously France being the powerhouse that they were heading into that, and Latvia being a sleeping giant, and Canada just took that group with ease.
Won it with ease, yeah, exactly.
It's like this is and like seeing the disappointment that we've seen from Team Canada's play over like the past little bit, decade or two. Sometimes you just can't believe that they're actually taking care of business. I'm like, this for real? And it's like that little kid in the meme. It's like, is this real life?
As right now we are at a commercial break of the action. So Kajan, any update from the? Oh, it is over. The
It is
Puerto
over.
Rico upset Dominican Republic, with your favorite NBA player Karl-Anthony Towns. They're out.
I
They're not
wouldn't say
out,
they're
but
out.
they're not out. Pardon me, but that's a big hit to their chances to get out. Now let's take a
This
little gander here at the new standings, Cajun. Let's take a little gander at it. With that, now you've got Italy and Serbia, 3-1, 3-1. Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic in Group I, all 3-1. So that means that their games in 2 days' time are so important.
it's
They are
literally
must-win
win in
games.
advance.
Yeah, win or go home. And right
And
now,
for,
Lithuania trying to do the same thing, trying to beat Greece to get themselves out of that type of scenario.
well, if Lithuania beats Greece, then it's basically GG's for Group J. The
Okay,
USA
Group J will
being
be done. And I just want to mention Shea laid it up and in now 37-27 Canada. He's now got 11 points. Shea, though, 2 for 7 from the field. Very inefficient so far today from the show. I'll say the chosen one, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
But he's had slow starts like this. He had a slow start like this against France and then turned it all the way up in the third quarter. He's had great third quarters in which he's outscored the other team by himself. So
And
like
I do want to mention this real quick, Cation, because we've been talking about, with Latvia beating Spain, like it puts the whole game in their hands. If Canada beats Brazil, which right now they are on track to, even it won't be as impressive as you and I would want it, they still right now are on track to do it. If they beat Brazil and win and get their 4th win, they guarantee themselves a spot into the quarterfinals, because that means Spain has to beat Canada, and Latvia would have to beat Brazil. So basically, unless Canada blew it in their next game, they basically propel themselves into the latter stage of this tournament.
mm-hmm.
It'd take a lot of work on Spain's part to be able to get themselves into the next round. And obviously, we still got to see here if Brazil can do it, because if Brazil loses, then Brazil's out. Regardless of their next game, they're out. So they really do need to beat this Canadian side, which right now they've held their own with this Canadian team. If they've out-rebounded them, it feels like. I'm not sure if the stats agree with me, but that feeling for me right now is Canadians are getting out-rebounded, especially offensively. And the Canadians just have not been good enough scoring-wise to be able to make up for the lack of rebounding.
Well, in fairness, like looking at this right now, like this is sort of impressive though. It's sort of impressive because with the France and Latvia games, the game was still close at the end of the first half. Like it was a single digit game. it was a single-digit game. Now, in terms of like the half, I believe they were only up 1 to Latvia at halftime, and I think they were only up 4 to France at the half. But the fact that they're already up double digits and like they've sort of like started to like pull away a little bit here, it seems like Canada woke up in quick. Now it remains to be seen whether they can continue this in the third quarter. And from a small sample size of group play, they've very well done that. But this is impressive to see. 24-11 in the second quarter from Team Canada, and
But Shea just picked up a second foul here at the very end of the second quarter. They're going to call it an offensive foul there for, I'll say, a charge, but look like a little elbow there in the post. So that'll be the end of his first half with 33 seconds left here in the first half.
but as I mentioned before, like Canada got that lead. Canada took that lead early in that second quarter with Shea on the bench. So even if Shea does go to the bench, it's like, okay, we're still good. Okay, we're still good. We got hoopers.
So they did just go back to commercial break. I'm gonna make sure I ask though, even though it's live, Cajun, you have a stream now, right? We are good. You can see it. We're good.
I do not. I still do not. I'm just looking at FIBA play-by-play.
Well, Cajun, we're gonna have to fix that here going into the second half. We got to get you some live coverage here, so my color can do his real job over here. Okay?
All right. Well, I'm trying to look for a live stream, and then it just goes to, and then Flowrider played.
Yeah, and then Florida pulled up, and I'm like, whoa, Florida, stay home, okay? We don't need Floridians here, okay? We got enough Americans here, okay? It's a Canadian show, nice Christian Canadian show, okay?
Oh man. I'm trying to see if I can. Trying to get something here.
Well, how about look at your phone, and I'll get you into something, okay? How about that?
I am on it right now.
You're on it right now,
I'm
okay?
just.
As again, we are still waiting for them to get back here to the action. So don't yell at us, okay? Don't yell at us that we're being quiet, okay? They're on commercial break. Blame Sportsnet, okay? Blame their advertisers for making me wait. And I do want to mention these will be up on the Outrage as well as the YouTube channel as well as everything else. So this will just be a live basically reaction of you and I talking about these quarters. This is probably the longest ad break we've had today.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, again, rather surprising for me that, like, with the last 33 seconds of the quarter, like, people complain about football. And again, I love American football. It's my absolute favorite sport. But I know it takes a while. I know it takes a long time. But I'll be honest here, Cage, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about, oh, football takes too long, this, that, and the other. That's such hogwash, okay? Every sport has that problem.
Have we not seen the last 5 minutes of an NBA game? Come on now. If it's close to,
Oh God!
that,
Oh, don't even start if it's close. If it's within 10, everyone's taking their timeouts. Everyone's going for a shower. It's ridiculous.
bruh, the last 5 minutes of the close game last 40 minutes. Like, come on now. Like they gotta fix that too, because it's like, yo, what is going on? Like, I don't need to. I shouldn't be taking naps during
Yeah,
during these timeouts. So
how can I go to bed, Cage, and wake up and still be in the end of the fourth quarter? Like, what are we doing?
what are we doing?
Now, this has been an absurdly long break. Obviously, they're doing their 5 here. That or Sportsnet's just trying to tell me they weren't going to show me the last 33 seconds of the quarter. So we're quickly going to check here to make sure. No, they are at halftime. So nothing happened for the last 33 seconds. So I'm just sitting here during the commercial break, which is the halftime. That's what they're doing to me right now, Cage. So they didn't tell me. Sportsnet didn't tell me we're at the halftime.
Bruh,
The gumption of them.
come on, Sportsnet. Come
Come
on,
on.
Sportsnet.
Come on, bruh.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
So it is the halftime of Brazil versus Canada. Canada only up by 10, 37-27, but they only need to win. Don't really matter how you do it, you just need to win. Especially these type of games where you know the bigger competition's coming later. And I know Spain's lost. They've already beaten Brazil. They've already beaten Brazil. They've already beaten Spain this tournament. They have, already gotten against Brazil as KJ finally got his stream working.
Yes, sir.
Defensively, Canada sure executing quite well, especially there in the second quarter. But Bruno Caboclo doing everything. We're talking blocks, putback, rolling to the rim, looking really.
Not that I'm talking about Bruno Caboclo.
From the floor, but you mentioned that the blocks that he had in this game.
Not our boy Bruno getting all the shout outs there on the site.